Well, you just pick. Yeah, I.
because
Well, last time I thought, remember we were trying something. I fucking all I had was visual, no audio, which would have been fun. We could have just put in like porno sounds. Let's see here.
yeah, that would have been good.
One, okay. Oh,
Yeah.
nice hat. Old Milwaukee. I like the new Milwaukee. That shit. I can't do the old. So
It gets a little moldy after a few years,
yeah,
but I like that.
it's old. Okay.
Strength.
So, did you see any memes about like it wasn't Hillary Clinton with Bill at the inauguration? That it was some stand-in, and they were comparing her height and stuff. Oh, go America!
Yeah,
Is that
we're
your
talking about America.
change has?
Yeah. No, I didn't see any of that.
I like I see this stuff and it's pretty ridiculous. But then they show the significant height difference, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. But it didn't take too long to realize, a woman could wear heels, you know, in one picture
Yeah.
and not be wearing heels in another picture. It would, of all things to like worry about, like, you know, it's
I'm worried about it now. Thanks for bringing it up.
yeah, we'll check it out. But I was also like, I got this VHS tape or VHS player that plays tapes, believe it or not.
Yeah.
And I was watching Return of the Jedi. Remember the one that they kind of amped up and they did more special effects with?
That was before my time. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. This is back in the 50s. So you can
Right.
see the strings on the pterodactyls and shit. But anyway, they had this
Yeah.
thing called the Sarlacc. Remember, they're going to push him in the pit and it was going to digest them for like 1,000 years. That was their punishment. Like, wouldn't we have to actually be able to live a
Yeah,
thousand
that's
years in the
right.
first
Yeah.
place? I think this is just. I want to throw Star Wars people. I want to get them mad because they're going to be like, just don't question it.
Maybe.
Maybe it gives
Yeah.
them nutrients so they live, so he can digest them longer. It's a weird.
Probably. Yeah.
Oh, it's the worst
It's
thing, Master
it's a
Luke.
gift. It's a gift and a curse at the same time.
Yeah,
Eternal life and
yeah,
to suffer that entire time.
yeah. It's questions. I mean, obviously, Family Guy answered some. Like Star Wars would have been over really quick if they would have just shot that fucking probe with C-3PO and R2-D2 in it. Show's over. It's like, hey, don't shoot at no life forms. What are we like? You know, did you see that Family Guy Empire Strikes Back?
No, I didn't.
No. It
No, I
has.
didn't.
You know Star Wars though when R2-D2 and C-3PO they get away in the probe and they're about to shoot him.
Yeah.
They're like, don't shoot him. There's no life forms on board. And the Family Guy version goes, what are we like cutting costs on laser beams? Like we can't shoot these fuckers. It's like, hey, don't do it. Because it would have just been like, show's over. R2's gone. There's no
Yeah.
message to Obi-Wan. Star Wars was about a 2-minute movie. It was a good start, but couldn't go anywhere after that.
Yeah.
I know it's really there's so many holes in that story, like in all of it. It's really funny, especially when you know what you know now that Disney owns it, and they didn't even know back then that Disneyland existed.
No, that's true. That's a good point.
So Disney is the empire.
Disney is the empire. Yeah. They travel in time to another dimension and already. That's just common knowledge.
So are you guys in a
Yeah.
lockdown there?
No, not really. No,
Restrictions?
it hasn't changed.
It really
Yeah,
hasn't changed.
yeah.
There are restrictions.
It hasn't changed much. They keep threatening.
It seems like a lot of rhetoric, just a lot of stuff, just maybe to get people fucking upset. Like either do it or don't. Just stop talking about it.
Yeah, I know. I know. It seems to be that seems to be part of the plan, or maybe the whole plan is to just upset people, and they're doing a great job of that this entire time. So yeah, like rather than just, I always said like either just talk now, completely for 2 months, and then your problem solved. According to you guys, not you, but those guys,
Yeah, not
and
you guys,
or
racist,
yeah,
fucking American, like
uh,
mega. Doesn't say old British Columbia on this beer can.
yeah. So yeah, it's just like a continuation of the same. Scare you every day with how many deaths or how many cases really is mostly what it is.
Yeah.
More and more cases. They announce it every day, and then they threaten you with, oh, you might have to put in more restrictions. Um,
If you don't act accordingly.
yeah, and then
Yeah, I turned on the news the other day, I maybe 10 minutes, and I started getting sick because it was just like, holy crap! It was just, I mean, it worse than normal. I mean, because it was all about one thing, you know,
yeah,
dirty diapers, and I'm done with diapers. I'm done with diapers. So.
yeah, yeah. I was a long time ago. Don't even see it anymore.
I'm using my girlfriend's laptop, and it has a light where I guess where the camera is, and I've never, mine doesn't.
Yeah,
I'm recording on mine, but anyway, I was really curious because I had a friend who lives in Montreal, and he said they were in a lockdown, and like it's pretty harsh there. Like so, some places are further east
I
you
hear
go, I
you.
guess. I honestly, I'm glad I'm in Arizona. I keep hearing, oh, you're the worst place in the whole country. I'm like, really? Because it feels pretty good here. Means we're having fun.
Yeah,
You know, are the okay? Okay, so if we're being so lawless here, how dramatically different are the numbers? Not enough where anything's changing. So maybe it's showing that just you just need to, you know, do your thing or whatever. Like, you know, I've heard of people dying before this all happened. Could have been
no,
just
that
me.
didn't happen.
No.
Didn't happen.
Yeah.
No,
I remember
if they did,
Louis C.K. has a bit like everyone dies, and he goes, "I heard that when I was blowing out candles at my birthday party for my grandpa. No one asked him. He says, everyone dies." He's like, "Thanks, Scraps." And then he goes, "I like sharing that information with everybody. Like this kid down the street. You're gonna die. Your mom's gonna die. Your dad's gonna die. Not in that order, maybe, but." And the lady's like, "Not everyone dies." He's like, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, there's some people from back in the Civil War that are still alive." He's like, "Yeah,
that's a good point.
yeah, yeah." I mean, I have no proof they're not alive. I know some of them
No, you
voted,
don't.
so they must be alive. I
Yeah,
fought in the Civil War and I voted in 2021. I'm an amazing man, or not.
or not.
Okay, so um, didn't really know where to go. I just know that when we start talking, it's. But it seems like sometimes if you trying to create something from something, it's harder than just doing it from the hip, right? You probably know this.
Yeah, that's what I was doing.
Yeah. So I was like, and that's why I was trying to bring topics, but we already went through the Sarlacc. That was my big one.
That was the big one.
I like I have all this shit written down somewhere, but it's all over the place right now.
Somewhere.
Oh yeah, here we go.
Yeah, slowly.
Well, yeah, Sarlacc, digest for 1,000 years, still would, unless it's nourishing you, silly Star Wars. Anyway, um, Ah. So,
I hope that upsets some people.
what's that?
I hope that upsets people. So I'm
Yeah,
hoping
I
for
think.
some egg.
And then I had this, but I don't know if, well, if I minimize this, then it's just a screen. You can see my face, obviously. I'm sorry about that. So,
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
yeah, it's. I'm gonna have to like move everything inside for the next time. I was trying to do everything outside in my. Can you see my? You can't see my.
Is that your closet?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it is.
I'm in the closet.
Nice.
Yeah. And then I.
That's a big closet.
Well, it's yeah, it's actually a pretty good size. And then I got this old VHS, and I'm playing MTV from 1988.
Wow.
So there's Tracy Chapman. And then I actually have video of me when I'm 19 doing security in Washington. So it's pretty. It's kind of crazy to watch the old MTV, but I mean I've seen everything now like several times over and over because I'm just like I can't get enough of it. It was back when it was all music videos and just nonstop.
Yeah. You could hook up a VHS to that new TV.
That's actually an old computer. It's an all-in-one computer, but the hard drive went,
Oh,
and so you could use it as a screen. So yeah, so now it's just a monitor for me. And yeah, I have this this thing. You hook the VCR to this, and then it goes out to HDMI, so that I could. I've actually recorded most stuff from those. Remember those old 8mm video, high eight kind of handy cams. Looks like
yeah, I have one of those.
yeah. I got one without the tape anymore, but I put all my tape onto DVD. It's pretty, and I got this VHS player plus like 100 movies for like $40. Bunch of old John
Wow.
Wayne, bunch of Star Wars and shit.
When?
A few months ago. Yeah. And I was like,
Oh,
I'll take the old movies. I like it's cool watching Indiana Jones. I mean, I don't know. There's something about the VHS player. It's so inconvenient. It's such a pain in the ass. it's it's fucking archaic, but it's actually it just reminds me of like a long. I remember like, and when the guy was selling it to me, I said, you know, this is just brings back a lot of feelings. I don't feel right paying 40. I'd rather pay you 1,000 what I paid for my first one. And he goes, really? I go, yeah. What'd you pay for it? I paid 450. You know, no. But I mean, those things were crazy expensive back then. It's fucking insane.
I've got a few of them.
VHS players
So,
or tapes?
yeah,
Both?
both. I've got a lot of VHS tapes, and I've got two or three VHS players.
Oh, nice. This one
Yeah.
sounds. It sometimes it goes like it won't play or rewind or fast forward, but then I unplug it a few times and then it starts working normal. And I think that's how things should work. You know,
Definitely.
so
You can fix it with that. That's cool.
it teaches you patience. You know, don't need everything fucking working. That's just too easy. There's kids.
Bullshit.
There's kids in
You hear
Africa that.
things moving in them too. What I like.
What's that? Oh yeah, exactly. And squeaking and yeah, I can't. I was gonna try to make the sound, but then I thought, no, I'm gonna sound like a cat having a fucking heart attack. So got this.
I'd like to hear that.
You know, it's
Perfect.
working.
Oh, nice.
I know, eh? It's old school. It's not even the Ben
Yeah.
Stiller kind. So I'm almost done.
No. How much was that?
$24.
Oh, you're 3/4 of the way there. Nice job.
Yeah. What? I gotta put the decals on. That's all I gotta do, but that's the hard part. I got glue all over the windshield. It looks like shit. You know.
I remember I used to do that all the time.
Yeah, I took my daughter there and I said, "Hey, you ever done a model?" And she's like, "Well, you've been with me my whole life. You should fucking know." I said, "Watch your mouth, Jesus Christ."
It's a good point.
No, but she never had, so I was like, let's get a model," and I put it all together without her. Didn't even invite her. I said, let's do this, and you go play your games, and let's do this together separately. Spend time
Yeah,
together.
perfect. Well done.
So I was trying to create like a, I don't know. It's hard to figure out what to do. I'm all over the place. I before Trump got kicked off of Twitter, which was kind of, I mean, whatever anybody's reason is for whatever. Like if you're running a platform, it's all or nothing. Free speech is free speech, right? I mean, Ayatollah can say what he wants. Kathy Griffith can say what she wants. You know, I think everyone should be able to say within 140 characters or less whatever the fuck you want, right? And if you're offended, but it's kind of crazy, like how he got shut down. But right before he did, I mean, he wrote something stupid. I just want to stop the world from killing itself. And so I posted something. I thought, that's it. I like, well, stop being an asshole then. Like, I mean, you're not making any friends, dipshit. I mean, it's weird though. Like your point of view or my
Yeah.
point of view. If people say, "Oh, then you must be pro-Trump," no, I'm just like, think for yourself. You people live in this absolute world of like you either are for or against me, and I'm like, how about we don't have to be for or against anybody? How about we just try to like come up with a logical solution that isn't emotional, based on your
Yep.
religion, really, political beliefs. And it's crazy because I just like try to point out
Yeah.
flaws in everything, just to show, yeah, they're all flawed. So let's look at what good comes out of whatever. And people just don't want to fucking see it. They just, it's crazy, Like you can't talk negative about Trump or anybody or positive or it's, I tried, but I think creating like as far as activity, it's really good to go in those forums, even like religious forums. And you can just say shit, and then they look you up, and then they bother you, but then you generate all activity. So going to like pro-Trump forums and say something, pro-Biden forums, say something. It is. I did that on Twitter. I don't have a lot of followers on Twitter. I got like, I think there's like 1,600. Out of the people you who see that every tweet, I don't know. So I'll go and I'll like find people who posted something that's kind of got a little bit of activity, and just try to like play devil's advocate. Not necessarily that I hate them as a person or like, but just point out the flaws. And man, people get fucking, especially with this coronavirus. Like nobody can. You're either, if you're not pro vaccine, then you're anti-vaccine. I'm just like, I'm anti getting something put in my body that hasn't been around very long, and nobody knows what the fuck it does. Why can't I be that guy? Why do I have to be anti you? And it's like, it's, but I like going to those forums and stirring the shit,
Yeah.
and it's good activity.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's a weird thing. I'm not on Twitter, but whatever it is, Craigslist. Do it on Craigslist. That's fine.
Put an ad out. Well, they actually have really good forums in there, though. They used to anyway. They used to have really good forums.
Yeah, yeah, I saw.
But I wasn't that into them.
So, but anyway, whatever it is, Facebook, whatever. It's a weird thing because I kind of like to stir up the shit too. And then it's funny because you're gonna offend somebody, definitely.
Yeah.
And people just want to say they want to put some kind of a stupid statement out there, and then they want you to agree with them, or they just want to fight and tell you that they're right and you're wrong. There is no like actual discussion, or there never seems to be an attempt by them to understand another point of view. It's just like, no, this is what I think. I said this idiotic thing, and this is true, and you have to agree with me, and that's it. There's never any way of getting past that. Whether it's Trump, and I agree with you too. Like, it's a pro-Trump person. I don't know why you have to be one way.
Pro old white
Trump.
guy. I mean, it's really the same guy. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they both have their bad points. Trump's got a lot of bad points, I think.
Oh,
I think he's just
absolutely.
a fucking fool. But um, some things just, to me, seem like they're obvious or they require a little more thinking. There might be some gray areas. It's not all black and white all the time. But it's in that world, Twitter or Facebook, it's always black and white. I think this. I think this way. I'm on this side. I think this way. I'm on that side. There's no in between ever.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the real problem, and I don't know. I mean, I would think like, okay, like through anything that I want to do, whatever it is, like I was even trying to write this piece, and the title is called "Nigger," and it's of course it,
Well,
huh? That'll go
that'll
well.
go over.
Yeah, and that's the thing because as soon as you say that word, you they have no um, let's and you've given no clue as to what your intention is through inflection or anything else, and you just say that word, people automatically have an assumption. So right now, if you say Republican, they have this assumption. It's almost just as bad a word. And I was like, how can we get rid of these like heavy attachments to these words where yeah, if you say it with a bad thing, then yeah, like bad intentions, then sure, it's going to be received as such. But that we can get over this, like being so fucking sensitive about certain things that we can't all think logically through things and say, okay, yeah, on this side, I'm on this side of the fence, like you said, on that side, I'm on that side, and blah blah blah. Because I look at every situation as a unique situation, and when someone uses that word, I'm like, okay, what context did they use that word? Of course, I'm not black, so of course I have that privilege of not having to deal with that. But I've had a lot of I know what derogatory is. I've had a lot of people say shitty things to me. I know what inflection is. And so it's really like if someone said, like, and you can listen to a lot of other people use it. Of course, they're usually colored people use it, but even like Louis C.K. and he does it because he's obviously got the time and respect that he can get away with certain things. But it shouldn't be like that. It's like you're either people are just too literal and too specific about how they want to feel about things that they're not willing to say, oh yeah, that's a reasonable approach. And I'm trying to write something like it's a difficult thing, like you said, it would to and to start out because it's you cannot say that word without shocking somebody. But just to approach it in a way, and I don't really know how. I just started writing it the other day. Just to get people to think or get not so uncomfortable about it. And just like a lot of people have made this particular thing, whatever it is, and that's a good word to use because it's probably the worst because we don't even say the word. We say the N word. We don't do that with anything else. We the T word or for Trump or whatever. We just don't do it for anything. And if we can get past these like being so fucking sensitive about everything and just approach it as face value with the information that you're given, and then maybe go find some more information. Like if someone was screaming that word out, I'm like, well, that's inappropriate. Whether they say, and I hear it in another conversation, like, oh, okay, that works for that conversation. Instead of just an all or nothing attitude with everything, it's really exhausting because it's really like if you question anything about the coronavirus, you're just this fucking the conspiracy theorist or this guy who doesn't believe. No, it's not that at all. But you're creating blanket policies for things that aren't blankets.
They don't have blankets yet.
Like where Alan lives is a lot different than where you live.
What's that?
I say like where Montana lives, like policies there aren't going to be the same policies for where you live, but yet they create them as such. And like this whole new Trudeau thing, like four. I mean, if it was so bad, then just shut down the country. It's like so bad, but we'll make it
Exactly.
better by doing this. It's either bad or it isn't. Either if
Exactly.
I mean, so is it bad
They,
or is it
no,
just trying to change how the world works now? That wasn't where I was.
yeah. Nobody knows for sure. But most people seem to be convinced that it is really bad. They like to be scared. Um, I don't blame them for being scared, but it's like you're now you decided to give control of your life over to the government, whereas before, like a lot of people I knew didn't trust the government on many issues, but suddenly they're scared, so they trust them on this issue, and then there's no consistency. Um, and it's exactly that. It's if it is as bad as you say, then just shut it right down. But instead, you're just going to slowly starve people to death, slowly put people out of business, and get people used to not having certain freedoms, not being able to go somewhere without breathing properly, or have them wait in lines. Yeah, it's ridiculous stuff. And what did you say about? Oh yeah, so the nigger word. Yeah, I had a friend who got upset because another friend of mine and I were saying, "Oh, we heard this song. There's some people going by, and they're playing a song that's really loud. It's in the summer, kind of ghetto last year, which is like old school. And the song was most of the lyrics were nigger, nigger, nigger this, nigger that, nigger that, and we were explaining, this was earlier in the day. And anyway, my friend got really offended. My white friend got really offended that we had just said nigger when we were describing lyrics in a song. And so this white friend is offended for black.
Yeah.
And that is ridiculous. And we're describing the words in a song. We're not calling anybody a nigger.
Yeah.
We're not saying, like, to me, it's just a word. And it's, if you use it in a certain context to insult somebody, that's a really bad thing.
Like any
Other than
time.
that,
Yeah. Being a shitty person is being a shitty person regardless of the words you use, because if your intent is to demean someone, then whatever, however you articulate that, it's still the same fuck. It's not a good thing to do. You know, I
yeah,
get. I mean, I really don't get that word, because I mean, I grew up. I didn't know anybody who had to deal with anything like that, because it was just East Indians, Chinese, and white people pretty much. You know,
yeah,
Eastern Europeans, but like, so it was like a foreign. You didn't even well, you wouldn't even hear it on TV. So unless you heard it in the movies, I wasn't familiar with the term. So to me, it's not as abrasive as like some people. When I say it, it like my daughter doesn't like hearing me say it, and I just say, you know, you need to hear it. You can't pretend it doesn't exist. So when you do hear it, you don't turn into a little pussy and go, "Oh my God, I just heard that thing. I heard these sounds put
yeah,
together in a way that I don't accept." No, you could just say you
yeah,
could listen to the person who said it and like, okay, what was that intention of, or just mind your own business, you know, because it probably doesn't apply to you. But
yeah,
yeah, it's so weird. Like, and she was brought up to be offended by it instead of just trying to understand it. Like, I want to go. Part of the thing was and find out the origin of it. I remember as a kid, I was in Calgary and I was probably in like maybe grade six, seven, and I was watching like politics on TV, like, and it was a bunch of old white guys, and they said, I don't know why we don't call it nigger. That's what it's full of anyways. And they were talking about Niger, and I remember seeing the map, and these were, you know, and I could tell like this guy was being an asshole. The guy, they didn't have to like put it like this guy's being a dick or whatever, but his intention, his inflection and everything, it was, so I understood that that particular term based from that guy was a demeaning, not a nice term. Didn't mean I could never say it or hear it without fucking getting all bent out of shape and shit. Just like, okay, well, that's not a nice term. I won't use that term, you know, in that manner as a demeaning term. And it's like, so I think for like white people who must have came up with it, for to them it's like a control thing, but we're not those people. So when if it comes out of our mouth, it might mean, you know, it's just like it's an understanding. It's like, okay, this is a word, but it's like, and having a double standard about it, like, yeah, you can't say it, but we can say it in all our culture. We can do it here, there, da 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 da. I'm like, well, that's like you created this this protection, which isn't right because you also cross other boundaries that everyone crosses, but yet you got this exemption. And why? I mean,
Yeah.
it should just be you're either a douchebag or you're not. Don't use that word. Don't you call a old lady an old hag? Don't bitches and whores and shit like. Don't use any of that shit. It's weird. So I'd like to
Yeah.
find the origin of it and kind of like break it down and kind of make it kind of mean nothing. Just it's only what the energy you give to it. You know, if someone says the
Yeah.
word, you don't have
I
to
looked
like
at,
you're white. That white guy, that's totally. I hate that shit. It's just like like or if you say something like, I got to fly, and then there's a bird there with a broken wing, and someone's like, oh, you didn't see that bird? What are you fucking asshole? He can't even fly anymore. Fuck. It's like, hey
yeah.
man, I didn't know. It's like, but it's like it's
It,
really crazy.
it's very offensive. It's very offensive to birds.
Yeah.
I don't believe it. Yeah, looked
I,
up that word because there's all kinds of origins for that word and many words. It means whatever you want it to mean.
yeah, I remember. I think my first real interaction with it was in Banff, and there was like, one of the guys I always like hang out at the club with. He's black guy dancing, and we just fucking dance. Guys dancing by themselves like guys do. Not, but we did that, and it was like he had rhythm, and so. But then this guy came from Detroit, a white guy, and he hated black guys for some reason. And I remember one time we were going by where this guy lived in the staff housing, and then he's like, "Oh, you know what they hate?" And he's like, "Yeah, just yell out nigger." And so I yelled it. I was really drunk, and I yelled it out, and just not thinking. Next thing you know, this guy is riding down the street on his mountain bike towards us, black guy, and I'm like, oh shit! And I just sidestepped him and stuck my arm out, and but I was like, you know what? That wasn't. I mean, he I don't know what happened. We ran off, and we weren't far from our place. But I was just like, I remember like not feeling like real cool about that whole situation. That was, not that wasn't who I was. I never saw the guy again. I don't recall anyway. But yeah, it was, and I used to hang out, but I didn't know him that well. We just always see each other at club dance, and so I was just like, man, that's kind of fucked up, And I got pulled into that without even really realizing it. And I was like, I was 18, 17, 18 or something like that, and like that was the last time I ever did anything like that. But yeah, it's weird because it just shows how easily manipulated we can be. And if it starts with your parents just being maybe racist or whatever, it's a pretty hard thing to even recognize that you are because it's just part of who you are. You don't think of yourself as racist. You just think of
Yeah,
them as black people or not even that. Niggers, yeah.
yeah.
Green screen is listening. Oh, my green screen sucks. So, but yeah, it's
Nuts. Yeah.
that's
And when you
that's their
surround
problem.
yourself with folks
That's their problem.
what's their problem?
Yeah.
Yeah. Then when you surround yourself with all kinds of people that think the same way, I mean, it just gets worse and worse, right?
Yeah, and if you never leave your town, your bubble, I mean, a lot of people have that small town thinking, and you just like, sometimes you go back to I don't know if you go back to Kamloops and there's people that maybe have never left, and you're just like, shit, you know. I have a friend.
I never.
You probably met Kim. Remember Kim McMillan?
No.
He lived in the house with us when Tanya was there, and Montana and Surrey, and he
Okay.
just for a little bit, but yeah, he went back to Saskatoon. He's just stuck in 1980. It's the whole mentality. Like he's a good guy. I love him. He's a good friend, but just never left
Yeah.
town. Still thinking, whatever he thinks. You know. Remember that time in high school? Yeah, yeah, we talked about that last time. Remember that? Remember that
I have
time?
a friend like that. I have a friend like that, and I talk to him once in a while these days for like the last few months. And yeah, it's the same thing. He like he'll bring shit up from high school, remember every single detail, every minute. You know?
Yeah, and I'm like, man, so many things that I forgot about. And I was
Yeah.
like, remember that time you did this? I'm like, yeah, I did a lot of shit, man. I don't know. And I'm like,
What are you
it's
talking
fun.
about?
He was telling me one time we were in like Fuddruckers, and in the winter, and of course it's really cold in Saskatoon, but so everyone's wearing winter jackets, and they have coat hangers anywhere, everywhere, coat racks, and I would just when we leave the restaurant, I'd be like, okay, which coat? You know, I'd just pick a coat. No, it's a nice leather coat. It's like Tim goes, yeah, you just grab a coat and you go. He was like, oh, that's not cool. And you just let me do that shit. It's like, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, that was good stuff, man. No, that's not really good. You know, it's like that's kind of a dick move, man.
He's like, I do it all the time now. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
Thanks to you, man. I would never had the courage to be a thief.
Yeah.
My kids get a kick out of it. They're doing it too now. Oh shit. And they're teaching their kids. It's awesome. Just because of you, we got 20 more thieves. Woohoo! And we're
Yeah.
racist like you were. Remember how racist you were? It's like,
I've taught my kids that.
yeah, it's,
Yeah. Every once in a while, I mention my kids. We go to Earl's or somewhere. I'm like, oh, I love this cutlery. Put this in your coat. So I used to do that all the time. Go out and we grab some really nice cutlery or like a beer glass, a stein or something, or a carafe, and we take it with us.
oh, I was horrible. Any hotel I stayed at, I was taking something. Or I'd walk down the hall, and in the morning when all the plates and the trays are out, and I'm like, salt, pepper shakers. I'm taking it all. Ketchup, fucking plates, silverware. I'm like, woohoo! Mother load. It was I was gonna go buy plates, but I got a whole set. I might sell some back to the hotel. Hey, I got a surplus here. You guys need anything?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. My friends always are like, I have towels, but thanks. I'm like, they work it into the price. They
Yeah.
expect all
Yeah.
their towels to go missing.
Right. Towels, robes,
Now I see though
shoes.
carts though, these like ladies pull shit over the top, like so you can't like grab all the. I would just go ape shit on the fucking lotion. I love lotion. It's like that's the best. That's where you
Yeah.
get your
Yeah.
money back.
Oh yeah.
Like George Costanza.
Yeah.
Costanza.
Just gets into your head. Get it out there.
You ever drink
Um,
like these kind of things? Seltzer?
what is it? Oh,
Yeah, seltzer though.
yeah. I didn't. Never have
Oh.
seen them. Are they
They're
good?
they're actually. I mean, I don't like seltzer, so I mean, I would never buy these. So I bought these the other day, and but I got paid back for them. They were. I think I posted something on Facebook like I tried them or something. But yeah, they pay you to try them, and then pay you to write a review, and then they pay you to post a review. So, but they also had a really good beer. Although I'm not big on IPAs, but it was a pretty good beer. So I've become an alcoholic over the last few months. So, but it hasn't cost me
Good
anything
for you.
except my relationship and all my jobs. But
Well, that's the gift that just keeps on giving.
yeah, and I got gout, so that's also a plus.
You got gout?
Yeah, I'm hoping.
You say you got gout?
Yeah, actually, I don't. I don't know what that is.
Man,
To the gout. Oh, let me go get my bacon sandwich.
Okay. My laundry.
Oh, I was joking about the bacon. That's not good for the gout. Is your laundry downstairs?
I gotta go downstairs and
You
change
don't
it
use
again.
that wash bin anymore? You do it on,
I got rid of it.
yeah,
Got rid of it.
about 150 years ago.
I should just get a wash for it. Just do laundry 24 hours a day.
Just wash it on your abs.
Yeah, totally. I'm down to over half now, so it takes a little longer. Yeah. You okay to wait here?
Yeah,
You want to come
I
with me?
will. No, I will wait here. I will have a hearty favor.
Okay, sounds good. I'll be right back. My kids might come in at some point. We'll see.
Where are they?
Be right back. Uh,
They're
one of
out.
them's at work.
Oh, really?
One of them's at
Working?
work.
Wow.
Yeah, they're both at work. It sucks. Very sad.
That's crazy. Well, at least you won't have to pay rent. They can do it.
No, I'm still paying the rent.
Oh, gypped. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Yeah, I gotta get groceries for you too. All right, I'll be back.
I'll be front.